watching this, I'll be recovering from getting my wisdom teeth out. So that will be the first goal from 2019 that I'll be able to cross off. Really appreciated all the encouragement to just go ahead and get it done in my goals video. So I scheduled the consultation, and then my appointment is bright and early Monday morning, January 28th. So I'm not sure how long I'm going to be out for. He does think I'll be a little bit black and blue, and just like somebody said in the comments on that video, he agreed that it's going to be harder for me to recover because I'm a redhead, which is so weird and bizarre, but hopefully it's not going to be as bad as I imagined. But this is the last day I had to film, so I wanted to power through, even though I live in a townhouse and the neighbors to this side looks like they're getting new floors today. So hopefully the pounding is not going to be too distracting, but I promise as soon as I'm done with this no bite, my first purchase is going to be a new microphone so that I can kind of increase the quality of the sound in my videos. That is all for an intro. I'm going to go ahead. I have some random things, some makeup things, lots of stuff to go over in my January favorites. I'm going to start with body and beauty products. If your skin is like mine and gets a little bit dry in the winter, this Herbivore coconut milk bath soak is amazing. I started buying this I think last fall when I heard Katie from What Kate Finds talk about it on her Instagram. I love baths, so I've tried a lot of bath products over the years, and this is the product that I think leaves my skin the absolute softest and most moisturized. So I love to sprinkle just a little bit of this into a warm bath, and it feels incredible. So this is one of the smaller bottles. I got it in a gift set before Christmas. I've gone through a couple of the smaller bottles and even one of the larger ones, so it's kind of pricey for what it is, but I think the amount of moisture you get and just kind of the pampered feeling, if you're into baths, I think it's worth it. And then to keep the moisture going, I also have been really liking this body cream. The brand is Karite. I think it's their Shea Butter Hydrating Body Cream. So it's a thicker consistency, and you do have to warm it up a little bit, but once it starts to warm up with the heat of your skin, it goes on and sinks into your skin and just leaves, like I put it on not too long ago and I can't feel it at all, but my skin feels really moisturized. So if you're looking for any relief from winter dry skin, I think both of these products are worth looking into. Okay, beauty. I have been so into this pressed powder foundation from Clove and Hallow, and I'll have to double check, but I think I have it in the lightest shade. And it's been a while since I've been into a powder foundation, but I forgot they're just so easy and quick to apply. So this is a great product when I'm getting ready for work and I don't want to spend a ton of time and I just need a light amount of coverage. It just helps to even out my skin tone a little bit, but if I have any blemishes, I like to apply concealer before topping it off with this. So it really is beautiful, and I think it wears really well. The only thing I'll say is it does pretty much nothing to camouflage the appearance of pores. So if that's an issue for you, like it is for me, sometimes if I want to spend a couple extra seconds, I'll top it off just in the areas where I have issues on the side of my nose and a little bit on my forehead with a setting powder, and lightly buff that in to kind of blur the appearance of pores. And then my other favorite, I love this so much, and actually if you want to see both of these products in action, I used them in my last Get Ready With Me video. But this is the Han Skincare Cosmetics All Natural Pressed Blush in the shade Glory, which is a great everyday color. I think it could go with a lot of different looks. I do have this on today. I don't even have a highlighter because I think this is pretty and glowy enough all on its own. So I will be testing out more products from these brands because I want to do a video all about mid-range natural beauty products. I think the most random thing on my list of favorites today is my music favorite, and I'm not sure how this started, but at work I've been listening to video game music, and I've talked in planner videos in the past that I like to do the Pomodoro technique, which is where you set a timer. It can be very simple, doesn't need to be fancy, and you just work on one task for 20 minutes without being distracted. And there's something about the video game music, and I was talking with Jared on the phone the other day, and he was like, well, I think it's because video game music is meant to loop if you're in one area. Like, let's just use Zelda as an example. So it just loops constantly. So you're not having that break in song. There's not words or melody as much as, you know, like listening to pop music or something like that. So it's been very good, and I feel like I've been more focused. So my favorite is a Final Fantasy piano playlist. There's also a Zelda and chill. And then this is more of an indie game. And if you've played it, please tell me, because that would make me so happy. But Ori, it's one of the prettiest games I've ever played, and I love the music. So there is an Ori playlist also. So I'll find these and I'll see if I can get links, and I'll put them in the description box. But I think if you grew up, or if you're like me and still play this stuff, it's kind of nostalgic and it just fades into the background while just being nice. So I've also, something else I wanted to mention that I think has helped me feel a little bit more focused at work. This is something I bought with a Christmas gift card right after Christmas, and I've been using it. It's called the Upright Go, and I saw this at the Apple store. And as you do in this day and age, I kept getting hit with ads for it on Facebook and Instagram. So it's called the Upright Go, and it's a posture trainer. And this is something that I really struggle with. I just naturally seem to hunch over, and then you have back pain. So this has a little bit of stickiness on the back, and once the stickiness wears off, there are reapplications, so you can keep using it again and again. And it syncs to an app on your phone, and I train for a little bit every day. I like to wear it at work if I know I'm gonna be at my desk for long periods of time. So you train for a certain number of minutes, and every time you hunch, it vibrates. So to remind you to get back into that perfect posture position. But I like to leave it on throughout the day, and after 15 minutes, so because it can get a little bit annoying if you're not thinking about it, for it to be constantly buzzing. So during the training session, constantly buzzes if you're leaning over or hunching. But then throughout the day, if I've been hunching for more than 15 minutes, this vibrates to remind me. So I think it's great, and I really do notice the days that I wear this and I'm being really conscious of it, that I do think it seems to help me focus more at work, and I'm not having that back pain at the end of the day. So I've been talking about this so much that my dad seems interested in it, so I think I'm gonna get this for him for his birthday. So I'll be curious to see what he thinks about it. But I would love to know if anybody else has tried it, and if you've noticed, because again, I've had it for less than a month. So I'm interested to see if it will make a long-term difference in my posture. This next favorite is directed really to people who live in my area, but I think the most emails I get, other than skincare questions, are emails asking me for recommendations of where to eat in Northern Virginia and a little bit into DC. I tend to go to the same restaurants a lot, but when Jeremy's home, he loves the Yelp app, as does my friend Ashley. So they're the people who get me out of going to the same places over and over again the most. And the best meal that we had this month was right before Jared left. We tried to go to one really nice restaurant. We went to the Conch in Leesburg, and it was incredible. It was such a good meal, and we've talked about it so many times since. So if I understand correctly, the chef is a famous chocolatier who owns a shop in DC. I'm not sure the story of how he ended up in Leesburg, but chocolate is in every meal and every drink that they sell at the Conch. And it sounds a little bit weird, and I wasn't sure, because while I like chocolate, I didn't know if I would want it in an entree, but it was incredible. Such a fun meal, a little bit of an odd location. It doesn't seem like the spot for a really expensive restaurant, but if you are celebrating a special occasion and looking for a really unique experience, I absolutely loved it. And then my other Jeremy type favorite, I listen to a lot of frugal podcasts and a lot of frugal YouTubers, which is hilarious because I don't really have a frugal bone in my body, but I want to get better. And something that they all talk about is board games. And they say it's a great way to spend an evening without spending a lot of money, going to a fancy restaurant like I like to do, or going to the movies and having to spend all that money on the tickets and food and whatever. So the two board games, I actually bought Jeremy for Christmas, but I let him open a little bit early so that we could play while he was home. My favorite is Ticket to Ride, and his favorite was Pandemic. And we have had just the best time, and it's such a great thing to do on a winter evening where you can spend time together and not be looking at a screen. And I think especially Pandemic is a little bit more intense, but it's fun because everybody playing is playing against the board, so there's not as much competition between you and your partner or you and the people that you're playing with. So that's fun for that reason. Ticket to Ride, if you are competitive, that is a great game, and I am definitely competitive, so I really like that one. I also think Ticket to Ride is pretty easy to understand, so if you have younger kids, I think it would be a really fun family game. So I'm not the greatest at explaining board games. Actually, I think we always played Yahtzee, was our game growing up, and then later we got really into Train, which you play with dominoes. But I think other than Monopoly, these are the first board games I've owned in a really long time and that I've really loved. So I'll put links to both of them down below. One of my favorite Christmas presents I received from my mother-in-law, and they're these Majuri stud earrings, and they are so pretty. I've wanted something from Majuri for a really long time, and so I was so excited to finally get them and just fell in love. Something I realized is that because I'm trying to do this no-buy in January, which I've done pretty good at, is that my initial reaction was, well, now that I have these, I'm gonna go onto Majuri's site and see what hoops would look good with them, or maybe another pair of studs. since I was on this no buy, I just put the ones I liked on my wish list, and I feel like it's made me appreciate these so much more because this is all I had, and I was just so grateful for them. So I thought that was an interesting thing to notice about myself, is that was my knee-jerk reaction, was to, oh, well, now that I know that I like them, I'm gonna order more. And I think because I didn't, I appreciated these so much. So that was something good about the no buy. Something else I wanted to show, I have a couple new things, but I wanted to share an old favorite that is still a favorite. These Ugg boots I bought December 2017, I believe, for my Christmas trip to Paris, and they were the most perfect boots I could have asked for Paris. Walking around, they were so comfortable, but I have gotten so much use out of them since then, and they are one of the most worn things in my closet easily during the winter months. So if you've been looking for a more streamlined pair of snow boots, I could definitely, when we had the big snow a couple weekends ago, these were perfect for that. I'm not living, in the Midwest or in Canada where I need something to go all the way up to my knees. These are great for giving me traction, warmth, and they're just so comfortable. So I've been wearing them a ton. Actually, I'm getting ready as soon as I'm done filming. I'm gonna go with my friend Ashley to Old Town Alexandria, and I think I'm gonna wear those because they're so good walking on cobblestones, and they just make me feel secure and comfortable, which I think is a great thing to ask for in boots. And then something new, my sisters for my birthday got me a bag from Madewell, and when I opened it, I said, you guys know me really well because I already have this bag, so that just means you know my taste. So I was able to take the bag back, and I exchanged it for this one. I think this one is called the medium transport tote, and I love it in the black color. I actually don't think I own a medium transport. I have a Madewell bag video where I compare, and I think this bag had just come out around the time I filmed that video. But I love the size of this. I love that it has the tote handles as well as a long handle that you can put over your shoulder. My favorite thing is the pocket in the front. I think this is so handy. So this is pretty new to me, but I think once I've been using it for a while, I will film a what's in my bag video and tell you how I've been liking it. Okay, let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, last two things, a candle and a book. I think this might be my favorite candle of life. It is the Boy Smells Redhead candle. 100% bought it because of the name and just crossed my fingers hoping that I was gonna like the scent. And I really do. On here it says it's frankincense, saffron, redwood, poppy, and pomelo. That doesn't mean a ton to me. To me, it smells a little bit like Christmas and a lot like Anthropology, and I think it fills up this floor of the house so nicely without being overpowering. Just a lovely, lovely candle. So I'm about halfway through, and I will definitely repurchase once I'm done. And the book I wanted to recommend to you guys, I think I've talked about before because this is the second time I'm reading it. Just thought it was the perfect book to start off the new year, and that's The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. She has so much free content online. There's a TED Talk I'm sure you can find on YouTube, lots of content on her website, including emails that you can sign up for. But I do think the book is either worth the money or the time going and getting it from the library and then setting aside the time to read it. She has an incredible story where she really hit rock bottom with her marriage, finances, drinking, and to see how just this simple rule, which if you haven't heard about it before, it's basically the idea that when you have the idea to do something, XYZ, that will move you forward to accomplishing a goal, it only takes your brain 5 seconds to come up with an excuse, whether it's, I don't want to get up, I'm going to hit the snooze button, or I don't feel like working out today, or I really don't want to respond to that awkward text or email, I'm going to do this instead. So if you can break that 5 seconds, so have the thought, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then move before your brain can come up with an excuse. It is so simple, but I think that's the beauty of the rule, and the book really goes through and explains it, and also all the different ways in your life that you can use the rule, whether you struggle with anxiety and stress or perfectionism. That's something that I struggle with, and I am a procrastinator because I think if things can't be perfect, I don't want to do them. And a lot of times I think, like, why are you being lazy? Like, get up and do this. But in her book, she reframes it as a lot of times when we don't want to do something, so we do busy work instead, it's because we're stressed about that thing. So now that I know that, I acknowledge that a lot in my life, and I think, why am I stressed about this? Like, can I get help? Can I make myself a game plan? So just being able to reframe my thoughts has helped. And honestly, I think that's why I started filming videos again, because I was reading this book and I thought, I'm not gonna wait for a day where my hair is magically perfect, because that doesn't happen very often, or a day when my neighbors aren't making a bunch of noise remodeling. I'm just going to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sit down and film, and progress is better than perfection. So if you haven't read the book, I will put a link to the book and her website down below, but I think it is fantastic. So I think that is everything I wanted to talk about today. If you had something that made you feel good, made you more productive, made you smile, whatever, in January, I would love to read it. So leave it in a comment down below. But thank you for spending time with me today. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you again very soon.